good friend of mine. Please keep it going for Trisha Kaili.
I really appreciate the Irish accent you put on my last name there. Trisha Kaili! Oh, yes, that's me. Hi, guys. I'm from Boston, and now I live in Nashua, just so you get some context for me. And it's true, I do have a vagina. Speaking of which, last week I had my gyno appointments. Yeah, the two ladies are like, yeah, good job, look at how the two women that are in here. It's not my favorite thing to have a stranger just examine my insides. So to distract myself from this awkward situation, I let her know, hey, in my free time, I just like to do stand-up comedy. And she's like, oh, and her eyes light up, and then suddenly I'm joking, like she's joking, we're laughing. Weird thing that happens is when you're laughing, like the speculum is bouncing. That's a weird thing that happens. Anyways, afterward, she's washing her hands, being like, oh my God, I had such a great time. You really made my day. And it made me so proud, but also I said, thanks so much, but that's actually a typical review I receive after someone spends their time inside me. Just another 5-star review, ladies and gentlemen. Also, she did squirt iodine on my sock at some point, and I was like, yeah, gotta be careful. That happens if you're strapped up. Squirt alert! Squirt alert. Speaking of squirt alert, I would like to talk about bangs. Bangs. Women's hair cut like this. I'm like, why is it called bangs? Right? Because some women always have that haircut, right? They always have the bangs. But if a woman has long hair and then suddenly she cuts bangs, guys, that bitch is going through it. She is going through it. You see, men, when they go through difficult things, they do something different. Maybe like isolate, punch a wall, take up binge drinking again. But a woman's, inner work needs to be expressed on the outside, guys. Hence, bada bing, bada bangs, guys. She's trying to signal she wants one of two things. She would like to shoot someone, bang, or fuck someone, bang. So if you see a bitch with some fresh bangs out there, guys, be careful. You know which bang you bout to get. You know which one it is. Which makes me super paranoid, guys. It's a problem that I have, yeah. Unfortunately, I'm way too paranoid and anxious to smoke weed, which is really unfortunate because I actually come from a long line of stoners, since before the Stone Age. They've been token, my family. My mom started smoking when she was 11, and my grandma was one of the early supporters of medical marijuana. Yeah, Grandma. She needed that medicine to prevent herself from committing 8 acts of murder on her 8 children. Very important, guys. So, anyways, I'm a disappointment to my ancestors. Yay me. Yay me. Speaking of which, I'm also a Reformed Catholic. I say reformed because the guilt keeps reforming every time I think about it. Keeps reforming. And I was talking to one of my friends who is still religious, and I'm sure you guys probably have this friend. They're just everything in life to them is like a fucking parable. You can tell them awful things and they'll just somehow make it beautiful, right? And we're talking about things that you pray for when you're a kid, for a puppy or for your ancestors to love you, whatever. But for me, I was kind of a serious kid. I used to pray that my parents wouldn't die because of Disney movies. Really traumatized me. And wished I wouldn't have huge tits. Yep, I used to pray by my bed at night, please God, don't give me huge ass knockers. Because my auntie had large bosoms and her back was always hurting. And my grandma, token grandma, she would store all of her items that she could put in her purse under her titties. Yes, the marijuana was under there, also change. We go to a store, it was not fun. So guys, I was very concerned about becoming the aching, purse tit lady. I was very concerned that was going to happen to me. And of course, I told this to my friend, that's what I would pray for. And she said, you see, when you pray hard, God knows your heart and answers your prayers. Like people with cancer aren't praying hard enough. Starving children, nope. But you can get itty bitty titties. You've used all your points on joining that committee. That one. Guys, I might have itty bitty titties, but I still got a husband. Look at me. Wow. I'm going to tell you guys about an early date I went on with my husband. We went back to his place to Netflix and chill. And one of the first times you do this, you probably should pre-select a movie, but we didn't. We're like, we'll just pick it when we get there. So, we're just like scrolling through all the options, trying to pick like the perfect one. We were like, maybe Blow? No, that movie moves way too fast. How about Shaft? I don't know, that's kind of sleazy, right? How about Holes? After one or two, you get the idea. You might be like thinking, like, why are you trying to pick the perfect movie? You guys are just gonna fuck anyway, right? But I do think that it's important when you choose your first Netflix and chill movie, guys, because we didn't choose the best movie. We chose Knocked Up. Guys, and spoiler alert, the condom broke. The condom broke. But our love story did not have a Hollywood ending because that movie has more plot holes than the condom did, okay? Let's return to that movie. It's like, would a successful TV anchor have a baby with a loser with multiple roommates who's unemployed? Well, this retail manager who was unsuccessful also didn't want to have a baby with a stoner with multiple roommates who had a minimum wage job. So good for me, but he did have a job, so he went out and got Plan B, which is important because I feel like that's probably what they should have done in the movie, guys, because, that movie, and more importantly, that baby, could have had a much more satisfying ending. Much more satisfying ending. One of my friends asked me recently, hey, look at that guy. Do you think he's loaded? And it's hard to know what she really meant by that question. Does he have a lot of money? Is he drunk? Is he fully armed? Is he full of cum? It's difficult to know which one. So I'm asking you guys. I'm sorry if that's a very loaded question. It's a very loaded question. Anyways, when I was driving down here today, guys, speaking of silly little jokes, I was checking out all the white pickup trucks driving down the highway. Love those guys so much. Their little bumper stickers. Don't tread on me. I'm going 90 miles an hour. I love to just check out what they got going on. But my personal favorite white pickup truck guy is the one who has the American flag, the full-size one just flying out the back of the truck. Just like, look at that proud boy. Look at that proud boy. Anyways, I have a slur for those people. I call them flaggots. God bless them. God bless them. And we did talk about cultural appropriation already today. So I'm like, I got to tell you guys my cultural appropriation joke, guys. We got to start with cancel culture, right? Gone way too far. way too far. I don't even know how to cancel my subscriptions. Do I call up Comcast and say, hey, you've appropriated my culture? And while I have the soapbox, guys, I want to talk about my cultural background. As you guys know, with the last name Kylie, I am Irish American. And I think that people have been appropriating our culture for way too long. You know, some things are very important to us, and you can't just take that. Binge drinking, for example. Hello, that's Irish. And, you know, the Irish goodbye. You can't take that either. Do you guys know what the Irish goodbye is? Who wants to tell me what it is? Yeah, just fucking leaving, right? When you think no one's watching,